the dry, the others were in the wet, and we did see much more consistency across the dry. But we are now down to the final 5 drivers on each of our platforms. We've got Steam for PC, PS4 and Xbox. I'm expecting this to be really, really close.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at those times as well from the qualifying round that they've just done, I think the drivers are going to be so fired up. 5 drivers in each race. I think we've even got a couple of brothers going head to head, just one place apart on the grid in the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's going to be super close. This is how we got to where we were. So if you missed the show earlier on, the quarterfinals, we had sets of races basically in Group A, B and C for each of the platforms. So 12 drivers went through to the quarterfinals from each platform. We then had each race winner go straight through, and then the 2 fastest wildcards went through, either from their group race or indeed from their qualifying race, which was off air earlier on today. The idea being that if they got fired off in turn 1, we didn't think that was very fair, so they had 2 attempts to set a really fast time which would get them through as a runner-up. So 3 winners and 2 fastest losers from each platform. So I say we've now got 5 cars going through to our semi-final stage. Bikanjeki in Latvia, we'll have a look at the track in a moment. 1 race. They've had a practice race. The practice race only counted for our grid positions. So that's how we've got our grid. It's a standard rallycross grid of 5 cars, left to right. Remember, the first corner at Bikanjeki is a left-hander, so pole is on the left. And this is dead easy. The top 2 go through to the live final at the Autosport International show on the 12th of January next year. So they're going to be at one of the biggest motorsport shows. If you get the whole shot and you get collected from the rear, and that race they didn't. Again, running wide here. There isn't a lot of runoff. You can see in the barriers are going to be equally as close when we get to Latvia. This was a look up the inside. I think that pass did come off, but we saw some over-unders didn't. Turn 1 in up is PlayStation. So PlayStation was super close in the dry last time out in Estering in Germany. This time, these guys have got cloudy with a wet surface, so they don't have the heavy rain that we've just seen for the Steam platform. PlayStation guys will be cloudy and wet at sunset. So on pole, on the inside, Kilian Del Olmo, STL Canu, and next to him, Quinton Del Olmo, STL Quinto. So we think these guys are brothers. I'd love it if they both made it through to the final at the Autosport show. We could definitely have some fun with that. Alexander Huss, SDL Shooter, of course, he was very fast last year with the Dirt 4 World Championship, and he'll be looking to do the same in the Dirt Rally 2.0's World Series. Wesley Wickens, that double W, and Martin Limu complete our grid from left to right. Now, the grids, as I say, were completed via a practice race, if you like, off air earlier on. And you might remember from earlier on today, the show where we had Kilian Del Olmo was leading. SDL Kinu, who you can see is 4th on this list, he's actually pole in this race thanks to winning the practice race earlier on today. Disconnected, Katie, while he was leading by a mile. We wondered where he'd gone. Like, I mean, he was in a different postcode in the race anyway, and then he disappeared. But literally, he disconnected. We were talking about retirements, but luckily he went through as a fastest loser.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows his pace, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was heart-wrenching, wasn't it, watching that? One of those moments in motorsport where you just cannot believe it. Yeah, but obviously proved his pace in the qualifying round, deserves to be there, so it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on. I think, as a competitive person, he'll be a bit more fired up because of it, though.
I think what's interesting for me is if he set that time in the qualifying race, the one that wasn't on air pre-quarters, then he was leading his qualifying race, the actual qualifying race, before he disconnected by a mile. He's now won his practice race here by some 2.1 seconds earlier on today.
Yeah.
Again, off air to decide the positions. And now here he is on pole in this one. You'd have to have your money on him, surely, looking at the consistency of the performance so far.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's got it in him. And, you know, if it's his brother, he's closely behind him, though, only one place behind him. So I'm sure that's going to be an interesting battle. But, yeah, as you say, it would be very cool if those two could make it through to the final.
So Kilian Del Olmo on pole. You're behind him. He's in the classic GCK competition colours. Next to him, we think it's his brother, Quinton Del Olmo. They're certainly related, aren't they? Racing in the same team with the same surname. Semi-final then coming up off the line, on board to turn 1, gets a good start. We've got to make sure he gets the car stopped for the apex in towards the left, gets it rotated nicely on the inside. A couple of people ran deep, or a clatter on the inside as well. But it is Kilian Del Olmo who gets away first. And now, Katie, he's going to be a little bit nervous about that disconnection earlier on today. Dare I say it, is it because two brothers are playing in the same house?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But, you know, he really pulled away from the pack in that. That just showed his mature level of driving and the way that he was able to manage that through that first turn. You can see how gently he was on the brakes, getting a feel for the grip.
Oh, Eli Martin running a bit deep on the brakes, somehow held onto it. I thought he was going to drop that there, but he managed to get the car turned in. That's Martin Lemieux, who was 5th on the grid and is up into P2 on the inside. At least 2 cars have got Joker around the outside. You can see them in the background now. He's really sideways, Katie.
He is really, really sideways. Yeah, properly driving this supercar. You can see the difference in driving styles from the RX2 cars and how they're...
Another mistake. Another mistake, touched the wall again. And it is the other Del Olmo who's behind. It's Quinton Del Olmo who's applying the pressure. Has a look up the inside, but can't quite make the pass there. Coming down on the brakes into the hairpin. Again, he's up the inside. Contrast the two driving styles. Whoa, contact between them. There was contact there between Solberg and Ekstrom that ended in a black flag a few years ago. He had a look, but he backed out of it, so I think the stewards will let him off that. But to me, Quinton Del Olmo, who's in P3 here, he's faster, and this time he's got through, definitely. Eli Martin runs a little bit too deep. He looked tidier and quicker.
Yeah, I think tidiness really plays dividends oh, he's taken a joke lap.
Yeah, Eli Martin got joke, having lost out on that position. Slides the car a little bit deep, going to flick it back round the other way now. Where's he going to merge? He's going to drop back down into P4, and he hits the barriers on the inside, maybe going to lose another position. Wesley Wickens behind, trying to find a way through, but can't get past, so just about holds on. Eli Martin, quick but erratic.
Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum on the exit of that joke lap as well, didn't he? Clipping the inside there. It's all about carrying the speed, because those cars are coming up, they're carrying that speed from that corner just before the joke lap merge.
So have a look at the top year times here. So SDL Kinu is Killian Del Olmo leading. He's been very fast, but he had that disconnection earlier on. He'll be hoping for no technicals this time round. But this is the man you need to watch, because he is hoping to get enough of a gap over SDL Shooter behind. At the moment, he's only got 1.7 seconds over SDL Shooter behind him. If he can get that gap up enough, Katie, when he takes his Joker, he'll qualify for the final with his brother. But if he doesn't, he's going to be out.
That is going to be so close on that exit, because on the exit merge from the Joker lap, also your line can predict whether you can block the driver coming around the track. If he runs wide, then he's completely going to cut off.
This could be super close. This could be World Championship spec on the merge. Remember, these guys don't have a spotter in their ear to tell them keep it tidy, let it run wide. He looks like he's pretty sideways here. SDL Shooter behind. They've both been very tidy and fast. What's the gap now? It's only 1.4. So the gap's come down. SDL Quinto backs it into the hairpin on lap 4. Surely he's going to stay out. He has to, Katie, because he's got to try and make that gap bigger. But at the minute, SDL Shooter is closing him down.
He is. It's going to be very, very, very tight up to the line, but he needs a really tidy Joker lap here.
So Alexandra Huss, SDL Shooter, is chasing down Quinton Del Olmo, who you are watching now. SDL Quinto is his username.
1.5.
So 1 point, yeah, so it's gone up by a tenth, so he gets it up by a tenth. He's got one more lap to try and get it in. He's got to try and relax and nail those lines, keep it tidy. We saw how quick he was when he was trying to pass Eli Martin. Now he's under pressure, he's getting a bit ragged. This
is definitely the time when you can crack under pressure. You really feel it coming in as a driver. He will know what's going on behind him. He will see that gap being closed, the split times, but what a throw into that turn after that jump.
Every inch of the road on the way in. And again, look how much of the road he's using. So he's really sideways on the way in, but he's making it work for him. What's the gap now? To 3.5, so he's gone up to 1.6, so he's taken 0.2 of a second out. And this is an epic battle for a spot in the final at the Autosport Show as we go on to the last lap. So SDL Quinto hasn't jokered and SDL Shooter has. The gap now has gone up to 1.7, so he's taken another 10th. Now he's putting the work in.
Yeah, he is, and if he can keep that up, maybe it can be another 10th before he gets into the Joker lap. He should be able to do it.
So keeping our eye on SDL Quinto, the driver we are following, and that's SDL Shooter who's following and trying to close that gap down. Have a look at the gap. It was 1.7. What is it now? It's up to 2. It's up to 2 seconds. So SDL Quinto has done 2 perfect laps here. Going to chuck the car into the Joker lap. This has got to be bang on the money if he wants to take a place in the final. A little bit of understeer on the way and up and over the crest now. He's going to come close to the wall on the right-hand side. Sideways to the apex. Look for Quinto on the outside, the inside. Where's Shooter? Shooter around the outside. SDL Shooter gets him at the merge.
He just shot it.
Unbelievable. At the line, SDL Kinu goes through. SDL Shooter takes it at the merge. Quinto put those laps in, but it wasn't quite enough. Couldn't have been closer. What a semi-final. That was mega. That's what I want to see.
That was incredible, wasn't it? That was exactly what we were saying about carrying the momentum through or overshooting it. Little bit of oversteer.
Before we came on air, we were talking about, weren't we, all in the World Championship finals where it's been like go tight, go wide. How close was that?
I know, that was. You could see the difference in momentum that was carried around that.
That's proper. See, it's so
getting excited, drawing our pens.
I'm doing all this again like in the videos, you know. Great. It was great.
That was good.
Really good race. Fascinating to see the difference. So Quinton Del Olmo, when he was behind Martin Lemieux was ragged as hell. And you could see Quinton Del Olmo was hunting.
Yeah.
He was so tidy, and he hunted him down easily. A little mistake then from Martin Lemieux. He ran wide. Then when he's being hunted by Alexander Huss, SDL shooter, you could see he got a bit ragged, tidied his head, didn't he? Took those tenths back, but just so agonisingly close. You wonder that one lap where he was a bit untidy, maybe lap 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Maybe lost a couple too many tenths.
And I think in the last second as well, he just overshot that last little, tightened up on you a little bit, that corner.
Yeah.
I think he just had a little bit too much oversteer that he had to wait for that car to spring back.
So close.
Towards the line,
We get one of the Del Olmos through, so I know one of you guys is going to be really disappointed at home. Hopefully you'll be able to come and support your brother. So Quinton Del Olmo misses out by the tiniest of margins to Alexandra Huss. It's Kilian Del Olmo and Alexandra Huss who go through. Bear in mind, of course, all this is provisional until the stewards have a look back. But to me, there wasn't really anything in that race. There may be something we haven't seen on screen, but there wasn't a lot in that race that I think could be protested. So I think we've got 4 of our finalists there. So I say we've got Lucas Mateja and Juna Pankinen. No, Pankinen didn't go through, did he? Did he? I can't. Oh, I'm lost. I'm too excited.
It was Poulsen. Yeah.
Yes, it was indeed from the first one, and then in this one, then we've got to say Kilian Del Olmo on road position. So there you go, your top 2 from the Steam platform. Daniel Johansson 221, Lucas Mateja ERT _CR said Meski, Kilian Del